Why do we resist change? Well, you may recall that when we feel threatened, our amygdala jumps into action to defend us, which is why we might feel the urge to be defensive or evasive. Ultimately, the threat part of our brain wants to get us out of danger as quickly as possible. So the amygdala will look for memories stored in the brain to see what it did last time in a similar situation. And as long as it broadly worked out, i.e. you're still alive, it will look to employ the same set of behaviours. So it makes sense that our threat system would feel quite uncomfortable in a novel situation because there's no handy blueprint waiting to be enacted that will keep us alive. Recall as well that neurons are lazy. The brain wants to exert minimal effort, so rather than dreaming up new responses, it wants to stick to the same patterns. And hence those neural pathways become ever more ingrained. So for both of those reasons, it's very normal to resist change. The unfamiliar is scary and it takes effort. So why bother to try and rewire our brains to embrace change? Well, here are two of my favourite reasons. Change is actually all around us, from changing weather, changing politicians, to change in mood. And there can be a sense of safety in that. Unpleasant experiences at the dentist don't last forever, for example. Aches and pains subside. Emotions like grief or anger fade. And this leads to one of the magic parts of mindfulness. We don't have to wrestle with unpleasant emotions or negative thoughts. We can just give them space, and they'll naturally diminish. That's what we've been doing so far in our mindfulness practice. Simply noting when we become distracted and then bringing our attention back to an anchor like our breath, so that these thoughts and feelings have space to recede. Now, there are times we may want to return to our thoughts and feelings and observe them with compassion and curiosity. But for now, it's great just to observe the transience of thoughts and feelings and let them diminish of their own accord. Here's another thing that change can help us with. We can be who we want to be. Our identities, our personalities even, aren't fixed. In fact, personality is said to be made of three things: learned behaviours, i.e. upbringing, genetics, and our own individual character traits. And if you've been paying attention, you'll know that learned behaviours can be rewired and relearnt. This opens up the opportunity for us to go forward and behave in a value-centred way, rather than assuming that we'll always be determined by our past behaviours or experiences. So even though change can be scary, it's also an amazing opportunity. And when we practice mindfulness, we can open ourselves up for change simply by observing it.